I first knew that I wanted to become a university professor when I had a professor who saw potential in me when I didn't see it in myself.
I just see a lot of students that kind of went through what I did 30 years ago. I was local. I knew I wasn't going to Harvard. I was working while I went to school.
My students are what I'm here for. They're why I come in. They're why I spend the time that I do on my lessons.
One of my big philosophies is that everybody can do anything they want. It's just that some people have to work harder at it than others.
The thing that most attracted me to Central is the population of students. It's first generation college students, a lot of students who are working to put themselves through school. I really wanted to give something back to those students because that student is me.
I think what makes a successful teacher is an approach to teaching that is not simply about pedagogy. It is that, but it's also a sense of vocation. That is, how am I a teacher outside of the classroom?
I knew that CCSU was the right place for me pretty early on in my tenure here. I would say a defining moment was when I started working with students in doing research. And I saw the incredible potential that a lot of our students have that they didn't recognize that they had themselves. And when I started working with students on that level, I knew that this is where I was supposed to be, and I would be happy here for the rest of my life.
For me, it's always about the people and the community. When I interviewed, people said, it's a 4-4 job. Are you sure that you are not going to get crushed? My answer always was, and it always will be, no. I mean, the community keeps you going, and the teaching is invigorating.
I've stayed for 21 years because my department has grown. The kind of student that we get still I find very, very attractive. I find the colleagues across the campus are interesting and fun, and why go anywhere else? I'm very happy where I am.
What's kept me here is seeing the students benefit from the courses that I teach. It's kind of a unique field. There's a need out there for CPA firms to find staff that have this background. So when I see a student go through the course, actually work on a town or a state that they might eventually be auditing or doing consulting work for a CPA firm, I feel that I've produced something that has helped them.
One of the reasons I really like teaching here at CCSU and plan on staying here for a long time is that they really have an emphasis on teaching. I can really interact with the students, and that's what I really wanted to do, is really be a teacher and work with the students in the classroom. And then also bring them the benefits of what I learned, the practical experience of 30 years working in industry.
I graduated from this program. So I found my way to CCSU when I was looking for my bachelor's degree. And I can remember very clearly coming here. I was looking at other schools as well, but I remember coming here and just walking across campus and just having this feeling that everything felt right to me. Everything just seemed to fit together perfectly. To come back as a faculty member now is really a delight.
My approach is to first of all, use our classroom site. I use a very interactive Blackboard Learn site. Then I try to bring in real-life examples. What a certain issue would mean to the city of New Britain or the state of Connecticut. They know they go to a state university. It's supported by state taxpayers. So I think that gives them a sense of how government works.
Getting the students engaged is one of my top priorities. Right from day one, I tell my students, I don't want you to come in here and think of this as a classroom. That makes everybody think of you sit in desks and you listen, perhaps, and you take tests. I want my students to come in there and understand that this is, and I encourage very much, a free flow of conversation. It's not just me doing the talking. I want them to ask questions. I want them to discuss things together.
I like to go in with a lot of enthusiasm. If I'm not enthusiastic about the material, how can I expect my students to be enthusiastic? To be also approachable so that they feel like they can ask me questions. Then I also like to give the students a variety of different ways to get exposure to the material.
I hope I make it possible for students to venture their own kinds of questions and not just assume that my question is the most important question about a topic area or the most interesting question about a topic area. So I try and build in a lot of opportunities for students to think about material the way I think about material, but then also ask them if there are other ways that we can open up the material by allowing them to frame questions.
My job is to teach critical thinking and critical reading skills, and that's awfully uncomfortable. One thinks that she can walk in having mastered the material and to deliver it on a platter and to ask students to show that they've learned it back. But you can't do that if you're teaching thinking. And so every single day is totally different. I walk in with a set of questions about a couple of passages or a book. I have my own answers in mind, but that's not my job, simply to tell them. My job is to get them to think about the questions and come up with their own answers.
So in my class, one of the defining features is that students have a lot of choice in terms of what types of assignments they want to do. And although this produces some anxiety in students because now they have a lot of responsibility for choosing how they want their educational experience to be, nevertheless, they get life experiences doing that they don't necessarily get in a more structured classroom.
I think CCSU has an awful lot to offer to all of us on campus. There are so many resources, as I said earlier. As a social worker, I really appreciate all of the resources that we can use for referrals to help our students, whether it be the Writing Center, the Learning Center, the counseling that's available, just to name a few. As far as faculty goes, we can take advantage of many of those things as well by keeping in communication with those other resources.
What the students have to offer the faculty is a range of experiences, of life experiences that many of us have not ourselves had, that gives them a way of understanding the world that might be new to us and that challenges us to approach them where they are.
When I first started teaching or coming to the university, I thought I was only going to be teaching courses. I didn't realize that I'd also get involved with curriculum and academic assessment and teaching and faculty development. But that has been a great way for me to meet other faculty, look at some of their approaches. How are they doing things? Nowadays there's a lot with online courses and MOOCs and things that, well, maybe we could try that in engineering.
Well, I think as a faculty member, just having the support of a classroom with all the tools that we need, the AV equipment is of great help. The workstations, the computers, just make it easier, I guess more efficient for me to present the material that I do.
CCSU has to offer the faculty the students that we are teaching here. They're tenacious in a way that I never imagined. They're really wonderful people, I would say kids, but a lot of them are not kids. They are working third shift jobs and coming to class at 8 in the morning without sleeping. And the same amount of work that they put into their life, to their living, they put into their schoolwork.
Personally, for me, CCSU has offered me many opportunities to grow professionally and intellectually in ways that I didn't think was possible. At other institutions, they might not value the scholarship of teaching, but at CCSU they do. So I was able to spend time developing teaching techniques and evaluating their effectiveness and have that be valued by CCSU.
When I first got the email from the Excellence in Teaching Committee, to be honest with you, I didn't catch it at first that it said, "Dear colleague." you have been nominated. I was stunned at first, and then I was just hugely, humbly grateful.
I know students are very busy. They have 10,000 other things to do, and for a student to nominate me was a great honor. In the past, I've seen and have seen some of the examples of what other professors do to try to engage their students. Accounting is kind of a dry subject, and to see other professors, what they do to make the learning process easier for them kind of gives me ideas as well.
Well, when I first found out that even I was a semifinalist and then a finalist, I was really ecstatic. I felt it was like, since it originally comes from the students, that I must be doing something right, because I always have a lot of that self-doubt. It's not that I couldn't also continue to improve, but that, yeah, you're doing things right.
I leave my house every morning at 7:45 with a book in my hand, and at 8 o'clock I am in front of 30 willing listeners who will engage with me, the material. I mean, that is something that I would be doing on my own if I weren't getting paid. So to be honored for that is an extra indulgence.
Were I to ever win this award, I would be in the unique position of being able to observe some of my most gifted colleagues in the classroom. And that is an experience and an opportunity that I would consider a once-in-a-lifetime gift.
I think, there are institutions across the country that have Excellence in Teaching Awards. At Central, the Excellence in Teaching Award is genuine. Not because every institution has this award, not because we're supposed to have this award, but because we really do take this mission of teaching and learning very seriously. And so for me, the award speaks to the continuing value of teaching at CCSU.